Hello guys, once again, welcome back to Bronze Man Group Iron Man, and today we'll be continuing on from where we left off last time. And last time we got some starter gear so we can actually start doing stuff and not like struggle. So now we just gotta prep to go do barrels. So we have a couple of gear upgrades that we need, and yeah, barrels is gonna be important because this is gonna be the gear we use for a long time until we could do God Wars or even do raids. After last video, my friend went to go kill some cave horrors so he could go get the black mask, and he was expecting to get it pretty early on, but RNG wasn't gonna let him be that lucky. We did eventually get the black mask, so now we can use the Slayer helmet if we want, and I say he got pretty lucky because he got it before the drop rate. And so I went back to go killing Karas so I could try and get the leaf bladed axe because I wanted it to kill Karas faster and because it's gonna be a decent crush weapon because we didn't have a crush weapon to use right now and we didn't have a whip. So it would have been one of the best weapons that we could use if we wanted to AFK gargoyles, which was what I was a fan of at the time. Unfortunately, when I was killing Karas, the clip did get corrupted, but I still have a picture of when I got the leaf bladed axe with the KC I got it at. And after my current task, like when I do most of my tasks, I like putting my seeds away in the seed bank. And since I had seeds there from last time, I dropped 3.1 mil in seeds on the floor. And then I went to go do my herb run. And as I was doing the herb runs, I dropped everything on the floor since it was from a previous one. And I wanted to make it fair. So the next herb run I do will be with the seeds I've gotten for Kurask. And so that's how I want to keep the integrity of the series going. And you can't have an herb run without a birdhouse run. So I did go and I actually went and actually cleared out all the birdhouses so that I could be fair and then carry it on from last time. I dropped all the clockwork, so I have to make them myself now. And I dropped all the bird nests and stuff, so I didn't keep anything and it's not disingenuous, I feel. I then went and completed the hard diary for rock because I actually had a yew tree planted here before because I was gonna do this on my main account before the whole entire concept of this even developed and was brought up to me. So I did unfortunately do the diary ahead of time because I would have liked to do it later if I did not know because I would have had to get the yew tree seed a different way. And so I just went and chopped this up and harvested the roots so I could get this done with, and then I went to the second diary thing that I did not complete. And so after chopping the yew tree outside the church and burning the log that I had got, I completed the rock diary and I was ready to go and collect my reward. And so with this diary complete, with the armor I had a chance to mine up to 2 ores at once up to adamant, and also a 10% chance to smelt 2 bars at once up to adamant at Edgefield Furnace, which would have been pretty cool if the whole entire thing of Blast Furnace was it there. But the only thing I really cared about was the increase in stats I could buy from Zaf, which was just adding passive income I could get every day if I added up with herb runs and with birdhouse runs. And so after her visiting the bank and getting out my cash stack, I then went and got the stats to go sell them on the GE for some more cash. And just like the title says, this place changes everything. And so my goal here was, with the aid of Hunter Potions, to go and catch Dragon Implings to try and get the Glory, which is a 1 in 13 chance to get it from them. But as I found out later on, Magpie Implings also dropped Crystal Key fragments, the two that I needed, the top half and the bottom half of the key. So my goal was either to get Magpie Implings so I could get the key and so I could craft the dragonstone myself, or to get lucky enough with the hunter potion and when catching the dragon implings that I get the glory. So, and along the grind, this Magpie impling actually gave me a drop I've never seen before, and that was a sensor key. I didn't know what the heck they were for until I looked it up, and apparently if you open up a chest, I forgot where, they give you herbs and stuff like that, so it's honestly not that bad for ironmen, but since I'm a main account, I could just buy the herbs and stuff off the GE after I've unlocked them, so it didn't have any purpose for me, so I just sold it. And for the method I was doing, instead of just world hopping, I had captured all the nature implings that spawn around this area, because this area spawns in tier 3 implings, like the dragon impling and the magpie impling. And so after catching this, I got magic logs, which I could use for when I'm going on birdhouse runs. So I was pretty happy to get that, so I didn't have to actually chop the logs or get it from a monster. The next magpie impling I caught actually gave me a pretty decent reward. It gave me another piece of mage gear, so I could actually use that when I was going to go and start grinding out the next thing on the list, which we'll get to eventually. So it was a pleasant surprise. And the next magpie impling gave me a reward I was pretty happy with as well, which was rings of recoils. Eventually I'm gonna have to make more or buy more, so it was pretty nice because now I could just buy it instead of just crafting it, because it would have been kind of annoying. And the next reward I got from this ninja impling put what I got earlier from the magpie to shame, because when I went to go and get this guy, not kill him, what the heck, but when I went to go catch this guy, which was pretty annoying at first because he kept moving all over the place, and I was pretty new to catching implings, so it took me a while. But after I got him, he actually gave me mystic gloves to go with the other armor pieces that I had from mystics as well, so. And when I was looking for a dragon impling, it took me a while, but I finally found my first dragon impling, so I was excited to catch it and see what I get, no matter what I got. Unfortunately, after catching it, after mistakenly clicking on the other impling, I only got a magic seed. But while I was out hunting for the implings, I actually got another reward from this magpie impling, was pretty good, which was a dragon dagger. It was the first special attack weapon I had for a while, so it was pretty much best in slot. And as I was getting to this magpie impling, I saw before that there's a dragon impling also flying around, which is kind of weird because I didn't capture any impling that would force spawn it. So I guess after a little bit, one despawned. So I was able to actually get another dragon impling along with this magpie impling. So it's a double reward that I was probably looking forward to if I got anything that was worth the effort. But unfortunately, I didn't really get anything good. The only thing I actually considered good was the Ring of Life. And after messing around trying to catch other implings that I actually didn't need, since I had the magpie impling that I should have opened up first before actually trying to get anything else, I actually got the last piece of the puzzle, which was the last remaining piece of the key. And in case if you're curious about the loot from all the implings I was catching all the way up to getting the crystal key and or getting the amulets of glory, I actually made around 451k, and the most notable drops were coming all from the magpie implings, which is what I was pretty happy about. And so after crafting the crystal key, I went to Birthdope to go open up the chest that gives you guaranteed dragonstone, so I actually go back and craft it. So after teleporting back to Lumbridge, I went to the shopkeeper to go buy some shears because I actually needed the ball of wool so I could actually craft the amulet. And so I returned back to the Lumbridge castle to go to the spinning wheel so I can make the ball of wool and then go straight back to Edgefield. And so after getting stew and getting some spices that I actually had saved up from before, I tried to boost up because I had boost up in order to actually craft the Dragonstone amulet because I did not have the crafting level for it, but I was close to it. And so after eating the boost, I actually got lucky, and then so I went to go to the furnace and craft it before time was up and then enchant it. And so after chanting it, we finally got the Amulet of Glory, which is probably the best necklace we're gonna have for a while until we actually were able to get an Onyx for a Fury. And so after going to the GE, I got some of the herbs that I got from the whole entire Karas journey, and so I went to go make potions that I could actually make so I could actually kill things in the future more easier. And while I was in the mood for making potions, I went to the dungeon next to Falador because I needed to get the blue dragon scale so I could actually craft the anti-fire potion for a thing I would need to do later on. I then finally went to go get some Carol Bomb so I could finally go get some Carol Bombs so I have some nice food to use for just doing regular tasks that aren't even bosses. And so after getting the Carol Bomb, I then went to go cook it. And since I was already here at the Mist Guild, I just went to go recharge my glory so I can have it later on if I ever want to teleport out, even though I already have house teleport tabs, and or I can just cast teleport to house. And because I was already in a productive mood and I already went to go fish the Carabomb and I wasn't doing anything else, I just went to go to the fishing guild to go pick up stuff that I would need in the future, like some other things I already had inside of my tackle box, but when I have it, so it's like justified me having it in there, including the harpoon, the big fishing net, and the lobster pot. So I grabbed those, and once I grabbed those, I went to go capture some sharks because using sharks with Carabombs would be pretty good for most bossing. And so after getting the shark, I didn't expect it to be this quick since I was like literally almost as soon as I got there, I went back to the Mist Guild and I went back upstairs to go cook the sharks so I could buy those for the future if I ever so needed to. I then went to the GE to go buy some potions to go start grinding Kurask and Turos because I figured out for the next thing I wanted to do, the next monster I wanted to kill after these two, I wanted a full mage set so I could actually kill them and get some pretty good accuracy. And this was also the sub that I was bringing over with me to Kurask and also Turos. And after getting this battle axe, it was so much more pleasurable coming here, and I might actually just stay here occasionally so I could just farm some GP up that way. Because while it's not as like AFK as gargoyles and stuff like that, I actually like the rune drops. And speaking of drops, we actually did get the mystic top that I actually needed. And after killing all those Karask, I actually got a clue scroll. So I went to go complete the hard clue scroll because who knows, I might have gotten something pretty good like a ranger hat. So, and while I was in the hard clue scroll, I got 3-star Doman Wizard steps back to back to back. So that was pretty interesting. I don't know what the chances of that are, but I think it's pretty rare. Or at least I would think it's pretty rare because I've only gotten it like one time in the step. I've never gotten like it over one time, so. And so after we opened up the casket, I guess we actually did get an unlock, and I actually got a collection log completion as well because I got Rune Plate Legs Gilded, so that was a pretty nice drop. This time it didn't get corrupted, but I accidentally deleted it. But here is me getting the bottoms from Turos, well, the completion log that shows it. And while I was thinking of getting rune boots from Necreals, I actually learned that the climbing boots give the same strength bonus. Might not be the same defensive bonus or whatever, but I figured out that they're only like 12 GP as well. So I just went over to Birthdope to go obtain them since there's no time for me to be wasting on that when I could be doing other things. And so now because I had a melee setup and a mage setup and all I needed was a range setup, there's multiple things I could have done. I could have killed the crazy archaeologist in wilderness so I could get a rune crossbow that way. I could have killed the steel dragons, which had a pretty good chance of dropping the rune limbs. And I could have also killed skeletal wyverns. And since the skeletal wyverns dropped at like an uncommon rate, I just decided to kill steel dragons. So that's why I want the best accuracy I could have to go over there. And so this is the setup I was going to bring over. And while I said that was going to be a setup I was bringing over, I thought I could pray overhead mage and then drink the anti-fire potion and then I would be fine, but apparently I wasn't. So I just swapped out the book for just an anti-fire shield and I brought some prayer potions over so I could just pray with my mystic prayer but not augury since I don't have the prayer level for that yet or haven't unlocked it yet. And while killing the catacombs, I know most areas are multi-combat, but I didn't expect them to be like that too, because the brutal dragons are single combat. And so as I was killing the steel dragons, I figured that out. But I was pretty safe because I had the shield on and I had the anti-fire potion on. So as long as I didn't get melee, that wasn't gonna take any damage. And so as I was killing them, finally on this kill, I finally got the rune limbs. And so since I had U-logs unlocked and I had the limbs, I just went to go buy another pair of U-logs so I can make the stock for the rune crossbow. Also went and got flax too because I thought you used the flax for the strings as well, but I figured out later on that that was a mistake, but it didn't really matter that much because, you know, I was going to need string anyways in the future for when I went to do fletching, so it was a win-win. After learning on the internet that all you need is raw meat, I didn't want to just go buy off the GE. So I just went to kill cows in a cow pen because I just reliably killed them with my fist. And so I got the raw beef. And I also actually didn't have any raw meat unlocked anyway, so I would have had to kill something. So this worked out for me. And then so I went back to Lumbridge Castle to go cook it down and get some sinew. And after making the sinew and the range, I was finally able to go up to the spinning wheel and finally make the string for the crossbow. So I can finally make the rune crossbow. And so without forgetting my hammer for once, I was actually able to make the rune crossbow. And it's not worth it having a rune crossbow if you can't shoot anything. And so that's why I went to go over to Slayer Master, Steve in this case, because he was the easiest guy to get to, I feel. And so I went over him to get some unfinished broad bolts because I was pretty sure I was able to actually craft them. So I stopped by Steve just to buy one because I only need one because when I permanently unlocked it, I would be able to get off the Grand Exchange. And I went to a guy in Port Sermon that sells feathers, but they figured out that I actually didn't have it unlocked, so I had to go all the way back to Steve to actually unlock the broader bolts. And after finally unlocking broader fletching, I was actually able to craft the broad bolt, which then means that I was able to buy it on the Grand Exchange whenever I needed. And so finally I'm able to just go and show off the sub that I'll be using at barrels in the next video. I have my mage set up, my range set up, my melee set up, and I actually have to spec weapon as well if I ever needed it, and I thought I would be able to use the Dragon Defender, but it's no use because I could use the book for more prayer anyways, so it works out. And with all that being said, that's pretty much it. There's nothing more to talk about, and we actually got a pretty good amount of unlocks this time. We'll need to buy more broader bolts, but yeah, that was pretty much it. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, and yeah, peace.